are live. Welcome to Welders of IG. I'm Joel Ridzak. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you also check out our Patreon at patreon.com/welders of IG. That way you will get your content a day or two early and be entered into one of our giveaways, giving away welding hoods, shirts, welding equipment, all that good stuff. So without further ado, I have a very special guest today, all the way from the East Coast, Jamie Kelly. How you doing, Jamie?
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Uh, Thanks for doing this, man. It's cool to get another guy all the way on the other side of the country talking to other people in the trade. So I've been watching some of your stories on the IG lately. Looks like you were go-karting, your wife singing on stage. Looks like you're having quite the weekend.
Yeah, we try to stay busy. We always try to stay busy and loosen up on the weekends, after all that work.
So do you go-kart often? I think you won a race too.
No, yeah, I end up winning. We did two races and I won them. I hadn't done that in probably 10 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I guess it was just still in me though. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's got
Actually, last time I went was
it's got like a double decker arena there. It was going up and over. What's that place called?
supercharged. I guess it's the biggest indoor go-kart in the country, they say.
Oh, wow.
So it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
Goes by fast though.
yeah, yeah. Looks like it, man. So you are a welder fabricator by trade, or what exactly do you do?
No, so I was for 16 years I was an auto mechanic, and then I picked up welding kind of on the side as a hobby, just messing around. I kind of self-taught myself. I never welded. I just had an idea. I was like, I want to make something for my house, so I kind of self-taught myself, and then I was doing it as a hobby and kind of just picked up, and I became actually really busy because people started buying stuff. I thought people would never buy this stuff, and everybody was like, oh, just post it online, people will buy it. I posted a couple pieces, sold everything in a week.
Wow,
And
cool.
then I just kind of was like, oh, all right. I did it again for another week. And then it started getting to the point where everything I was making was selling. And then I started taking custom orders. And then I've been nonstop since. So that was 2015. And then 2019, I left the auto mechanic business and I went working on trains as a inspect and train mechanic. And then that's overnights, and then during the day I weld.
Okay, cool. So, inspecting trains, working on trains, what does that job entail?
I love it. It's you're on the train schedule, so the train pulls in. Um, you walk the train. I walk the train from the front to the back, make sure everything is safe and in place, secure, all that, and then test the brakes. Anything that's broken, I fix it. Um, it's a completely different thing than cars, where cars was just stress. I don't know. You know anything about flat rate mechanic?
No,
It's,
enlighten me.
so you get paid by what you do.
Uh,
So if there's no work, you don't get paid. If the work is warranty, you don't get paid as much. It was just a lot of stress. So this is a nice hourly gig, and it's no stress. It's just do your thing, and that's it. I love it.
awesome, cool, cool. So do you take weekly trips to the junkyard to get all your materials? Do you find it on the train tracks? Where do you get all your stuff to make your art?
So when I worked at the dealership, I used to just keep everything. If I did a brake job, keep the brakes. If I did a motor, I keep the motor. Anything that was trash, I just brought it home. Now I know so many people, especially from doing this. People message me all the time. Hey, I got an old transmission. Hey, I got an old engine. Um, so it's usually I think I've gone to the junkyard once ever. Aside from that, it's just been people giving me stuff, or like I had a guy. I needed pistons. I was running low on pistons, and a guy was like, "Hey, I got 92 pistons in a box. You can have them. I'll trade you. Just make me a figure, and you can have them." So a lot of it is just trade. But I don't really go out much looking for it. It's kind of just finds me.
Okay, cool, cool. And I see you built a new bar for your sports den, your man cave or something. That looked pretty cool.
Yeah, we got a like a pool, we have the house that I bought is it's just garages everywhere. So I have a massive garage where I work, and that's where I work. And then we have another garage next to our pool that we made like a pool
Hmm.
house. So we did a like a full bar in there. I wanted this idea of like car parts bar, so I started finally using epoxy. Wanted to do some stuff before with epoxy, but I've never done it. It's it's tricky, but I love it. I love the way it came out. So it's a nice clear top with all car parts. Kind of goes with the theme of everything that everything I do is pretty much cars.
So, what is your favorite car to work on? I know you've worked on all sorts of things, and we'll get into your Lincoln in a second here, dude. You got a badass Lincoln. So, what's your favorite car to work on? What have you made the most money on?
Oh, Subarus. I was a Subaru mechanic for 14 years.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and I always thought Subarus were horrible. And then once I started working there, I'm like, this is the best car. They're so reliable. They're so simple to work on, for the most part. But I would say Subarus. That's one car I never thought I would like, and now I love it. That's all I drive. Like, well, not all I drive, but regularly. That's my daily driver. Just a Subaru Legacy,
Um,
something
okay,
simple.
okay. You're not. I would think you would be a WRX STI guy.
I had one. I had one. It was like the best car. I loved it. I used to beat the crap out of it in the wintertime, and I end up selling it and figuring because what happened was I bought the Lincoln and I was putting all my money in the WRX, and I'm like, if I keep this WRX, I'm never gonna get this Lincoln going.
Mm,
So I went with the adult decision and bought a Legacy, which my wife at the time she was like, "Oh, you bought an old man car? That's stupid." But I love it, and yeah, I didn't put any money in that. And then I got the Lincoln was on the road. I think the next year.
yep. Very safe car. Good for the family. Reliable. Awesome. So, you have the 64 Lincoln Continental. Tell us what brought you to that car. How did you find it? And how long you've been working on that thing? It looks like quite a project.
Yeah, that's a headache. That thing. So back in like I would say '08, I was in Vegas and I saw I was always like an import guy and Subarus, Hondas, all that stuff, and I saw a old school caddy, like a '65 caddy, slammed on the ground with big wheels, and I just thought that was the coolest car I ever seen. I never seen because a lot of that wasn't around here. So when I saw that, I was like, man, I kind of want one of these. So I started looking for the Cadillac, and while I was looking for the Cadillac, I came across the Lincoln and a company Mob. Well, now people know, but at the time, I don't know if you ever heard of Mob Steel.
No, I
They
have
make those
not.
steel wheels. So they only did Lincolns. That's all they built, and it was just like murdered out Lincolns. So I started like, man, I really like this because I always had people with me, but the four doors was better. So I looked, and then I ended up finding a Lincoln. Guy had it. It was his father-in-law's, and it was sitting in the garage for like 20 years. He sold it to me. He was asking 2,600. I got it for $800. Didn't run.
Jeez.
Which now you could never get. I mean, the parts alone are worth that. So I had got that in 2012, and I got it on the road in 2015. I ended up having to rebuild the motor. It was a lot more work. Had I known how much work, I would have bought the Cadillac.
Mm,
Because Cadillac, you can buy stuff right out of a catalog. This thing, I needed a rear brake drum. A used rear brake drum was $450 plus shipping for one.
jeez.
So yeah, so I didn't realize what I was getting into. But now I'm pretty much done with it. It's pretty much where it will be, and I love it. The thing is, that was like my dream car. Once I found that thing, I was like, I'm getting one of these, and that's exactly how I wanted it to look, the way it is.
Mhm.
So I'm really happy with it.
So, what are you running in there? You got a Hemi? What do you got?
No, it's got the original 430. I had it all rebuilt, original transmission. Everything was rebuilt. Um, I thought about doing like the LS swap, but everybody said it was too much money. But then turns out to rebuild the motor, I should have just did the LS because that motor was only in there for 2 years, so everything was like double the price.
Mm,
So when I was doing like the water pump, couldn't find one. The first three I bought were all wrong, and then it turned out I ended up having to ship mine to like California to have it rebuilt for like $600 for a stock water pump. So when you add up all the stuff, I should have just swapped it.
mm. And so you did all the work aside from the suspension. It's got an air ride suspension. Am I correct?
Yeah, I've done everything pretty much aside from my buddy owns a shop in Whitman, Mass called Sudden Impact Customs.
All right, time to talk about making money online. If you're like me, you like making money. You like those big OT checks, but it's never enough. You know you need to have another stream of income coming in. Inflation's going crazy right now. The price of gas is up, food is up, and your purchasing power is going down daily. But you're in luck. There's never been an easier time to make money. And to help you with all that, there's Hustlers University. Once you get inside, you'll be connected with verified multimillionaires and have access to 18 wealth creating courses from freelancing, crypto, copywriting, and drop shipping, just to name a few. You will be given the tools to make money easily online. For only $50 a month, you try it out. You don't like it, cancel anytime. So what? You're only out $50. Who cares? But trust me, you're going to love the service. The courses are awesome. And above all, you're going to love the mindset that it gives you. You need to get in now, though, before they raise the price. You'll be grandfathered into that $50 a month price, just so you know. I use this service. I've made money online, and you can too. If I can do it, you can do it. It's super simple. Go to the link in my description of the podcast, or go to the link on my Instagram bio and buy directly from there. If you click it, you click around, you explore the site, that's okay. Go back to that link and order directly from there. It really helps out the show, and it'll help you make money. So get on Hustlers University and get you some dough. You're making art for people all the time. You made one for Covino and Rich, another podcast. Did they request that, or are you just a big fan? Send it in?
No, yeah. So I've been listening to their show. I started listening to their show when I bought when I got Sirius XM back in like '07, and those guys are really cool. They're like, I would go into New York to visit my brother, and the Sirius XM was in New York, and they always said, "Oh, if you're in New York, you're welcome to come hang out in the studio and just send us an email." So I would, when I was in New York, when my brother was at school or whatever, I would send the email and I would go and hang out in the studio, and then just kind of develop a little bit of a friendship, kind of like a, hey, what's up, how you doing? Like, we would talk online and stuff, and then they would have events when I was in New York. I would go by, and then it kind of became like almost like a friendship. And then when I started doing the welding, they would give me shout outs on the show, which was kind of cool. So I was like, it was kind of cool to get in the name out, and they didn't have to do that. So one day when I was hanging out with them in New York, they were talking about how they liked it. I was like, hey, I'm gonna make you guys a piece. So I ended up making them pieces. That was back in, I think it was 2017. I think it was like almost 6 years ago. And then they just got a studio, and they ended up hanging it up. So it was kind of cool to get that. They actually put it in their studio, which I didn't expect. I just made it for them just as something to do. Just for all the shout outs and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, help you build your brand. A shout out from those guys is pretty massive.
And Covino's awesome because he's always giving me shout outs. Like, I'll just be listening, and then randomly he'll be like, "Oh yeah, Street Trendz Metal Art." I'm like, "Oh, no kidding, that's awesome." So it's really cool. I actually just made a piece for his sister, and I just shipped that out a couple weeks ago. So it was kind of
What
cool.
was that?
And it was an airplane. I believe her husband's an airplane. Either he's a pilot or a mechanic. I'm not sure. So I made him a little. I don't know what it's called, like a C something. I don't even know. People just send me the pictures. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
Nice. So now I saw you're making an urn for someone too. You're making little art pieces. You're making urns.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of pretty much almost most people that reach out are like gearheads or something like that. Like, I've done
Mm-hmm.
pieces like commemorative pieces and stuff like that. And a person actually messaged me and was, they said they'd like me to build them an urn for their father's ashes. So actually this morning I just finished talking to them about it. It's going to be it started off as they wanted an urn with like a piston head that would unscrew, and then you put the ashes in it. And then they really liked the hot rod idea. So we're going to do like a Bel Air gasser with a piston guy with a mohawk, because I guess his father loved mohawks. And we're going to make the trunk open, and that will be the urn. So it's going to be a pretty big urn, I guess.
Okay.
A little
Wow.
different.
Nice. So you were listening to Cavino and Rich on satellite radio. Do you still have satellite radio? I used to have it. I got rid of that shit, man. It's
I
terrible.
do, but I don't. I really don't listen to it. I was gonna cancel it, but my wife uses it in the Jeep, so she still listens to it. I actually Covino and Rich are on Patreon now, so I listen to them on there. But yeah, I have it, but I don't use it. I used to listen every single day. I loved like Howard Stern and all the different stations. I used to listen constantly.
Yep, Shade 45, Howard Stern. Oh my God, Howard Stern show was so hilarious. That's really why I got satellite
That was the
radio.
whole reason I got it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was big into Howard.
I feel like he single-handedly built Sirius satellite radio. Like if it wasn't for him, it would have never lifted off
Oh
because
yeah,
it cuts out everywhere. Like if you go under an overpass, boom, cut. It's terrible.
yeah,
But the
yeah.
content was great. They had lots of comedians on there too. Their comedian stations were great. But
Oh yeah, I used to listen to everything. I listened to like the BPM, like the house music channels, and my wife still listens. She listens to Pitbull radio constantly, and my daughter loves it.
Pitbull, Pitbull.
Aside from that, I don't really use it. I still have it on my phone. I don't even open it.
So your wife, she's a singer. Does she do that professionally? I saw her on
No,
stage on your story.
no, she does braces. That's what she does.
Oh, okay.
But she just loves singing. And there wasn't even a karaoke night. I think she just went in there and demanded that she wanted to sing it.
Just forced her way on stage. Give me the mic.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So any future projects you want to promote? Do you ever slow down? I mean you got a wife, kids, you got projects all over the place. Do you ever slow down and be like, all right, I can't take all these projects anymore?
Yeah, that's what she always tells me. I need to stop. Um, my I'm by nature I always have to do something. I hate sitting. She's like, "Oh, just sit, relax, let's watch TV." I'm like, "I hate sitting. I gotta be doing something all the time." Um, the biggest thing is, so like in July, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Viva Vegas. It was a huge classic car
Oh,
show.
okay.
So they started a new thing. It's like Viva East. So that's a big show that's coming up in July, which that'll probably be the first show that I actually set up um, since COVID and all that stuff happened. So everything shut down. And thank God when COVID happened, there was a big show I used to do every year called the World of Wheels in Boston. And when COVID hit, they shut it down, and that was the last year that they were going to have it. So that was my big event. Luckily, the online stuff picked up like crazy. Um, so this will be big to actually get out and do in-person show. And then we have a huge car show in the summer called the Summer Send Off Show, which I might end up setting up a booth there. That's where I started. My friend throws that show, my buddy Tony, and he was the one that told me, he's like, you should set up at a show, start selling stuff, and it all sold. I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. So this year we're going to be doing a huge show again. That's coming up, and then my other thing is I'm gonna do my first fence. I want to do I got to do a fence around my pool, so this year that'll be a big thing. I'm gonna do a metal lot fence, which I'm curious to see how that comes out.
I'm sure it'll be great. You really have a knack for all this stuff. So that Vive show, is that like in Atlantic City? Is that in Boston? Where is that?
So the original wasn't is in it's in Las
Right.
Vegas, and then this one's gonna be in just west of Boston.
Oh, okay.
So it's the Boston area, but yeah, it's called Viva East,
Viva
and
East.
it's a good time. It's like a rockabilly, 60s, a lot of 60s, 50s, 60s cars, pre 1970s.
Okay.
So I want to and then I'll bring the truck up there and set up, and it'll be fun.
Nice.
First show I'll bring the truck too.
Nice. All right, man. Hey, thanks for joining me on Welders by G. Anything else you want to promote? Where can people find you, man?
You can find me at Street Trends underscore metal underscore art, and you can find me there at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm on TikTok now, which is surprising that works. People love it on TikTok too. And then Etsy, if you go on Etsy.com backslash Street Trends Metal Art, it'll come up. And that's my online store. And then streettrendsmetalart.com, which links to all of that stuff, which is probably the easiest way.
Okay, great. All right. Have you found that TikTok is easier to build a following than Instagram was? Or,
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah. I was surprised. 'Cause I didn't even know what it was. And I read a book about promotion, and like I basically read a book on marketing, and they said that any route, just take it. So I was like, I'll just make the TikTok for the hell of it, and I did. And then I think I've had Instagram since I've started this, so like 2015, and I think I'm at right around 14,000 followers. And on TikTok, within a month, I think I was at 10,000.
Wow.
So it goes quicker. And then the other day, I had two videos go viral, and now I'm at 19.8.
Jeez.
So I'm almost at 20,000 from two videos.
Wow, dude. Yeah, you're gonna
So
hit
yeah,
100K
crazy.
before you know it, dude. I just
I
feel it.
hope so. I
I
hope
have
so.
faith in you.
It's so crazy out there. It's the stuff that you see sometimes blows up. You're like, wow, how did that blow up? And then you put out something. You're like, oh, this is gonna go crazy, and it doesn't.
Right. I think it has a lot to do with the trending music at the time. If you don't put the right music and the right hashtags, it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, it's crazy as you said that, because I'll put a video and I'll get like, say, like one of the videos, it's 200 likes, and then it's like you find a common song or something, you do that one, and all of a sudden it's like 2,000 likes. It's like, geez, it's tough to figure out, but it's fun.
hmm And I also think since it's a Chinese app, what they like to do is their algorithm works different than the US algorithm. Like a lot of stuff on Instagram and TikTok is all like silly videos, stupid stuff, beauty techniques and whatnot that you'll see a lot of. But their algorithm is focused on like science, trades, working. So now when I get on TikTok, like I see tons of welders, tons of trade work and stuff like that, and tons of like gardening and all sorts of other things that have to do with like productivity, which makes sense. They want to be the dominant nation in the world, so get their people focused on welding and making things.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. My feed is all like welders and landscapers.
Yeah. So okay. So check out Jamie on Instagram and check him out on TikTok. Help him build that following. And man, thanks so much for being on. And hopefully we'll build that following and get you back at a later date, man. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yep. Peace out.